Hi kids, I'm here with the Bible story, continuing off from where we left off last time. Remember, God had sent all the plagues, and the Egyptians were following the Hebrews through the Red Sea, and God parted the Red Sea down the middle, and the Hebrews slaves escaped through the Red Sea, and when the Egyptians went in the water after them, God threw the sea back down, and drowned all the Egyptians who were going after the Hebrew slaves. So now they are free, and they're wandering in the land, trying to find the land of Canaan, where God is going to lead them. So, this story is called Food from Heaven. And the Bible verse we're starting with today, for today's story, is in the second book of the Bible, called Exodus, right after Genesis, and you will look for chapter 16, verse 15, and it says, "And Moses said unto them, This is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat." So let's see what happens. In order to reach the promised land of Canaan, the Israelites had to travel through miles of desert and cross many mountains. With so many thousands of people and great herds and flocks, food and water became very scarce. Sometimes the water that they found was not clean enough to drink. One time, God and Moses cast a tree into some bitter water, and it became clear and sweet for drinking. But they had to move on from the good streams, and the paths grew rougher as they approached the great mountain of Sinai. Grumbling began to arise from the crowds of people. They complained to Moses and Aaron that their food had been better back in Egypt, even though they had been slaves. "When you speak like this to us," Moses told them, "you are really speaking against the Lord. Do you not remember that He is leading us and taking care of us? He will not forget us now." The Lord did not forget them. He said to Moses, "I will send food from heaven to you, bread each morning and quail, a kind of bird, each evening. Every day you are to gather just enough for one day, for it will not keep without spoiling. On the 6th day of the week, however, I will let you gather enough for 2 days, because I will not send any on the 7th day. It is to be your day of rest." And you can see them here gathering the bread and the manna, the bread and the birds that God sends down from heaven for them to eat. They're gathering it up. Just as the Lord said, the next morning when the people woke up, they found little white flakes like frost of snow on the ground. They turned to each other and asked in the Hebrew language, "What is this?" They had never seen snow before. They don't have snow there. The word for this is manuhu, and some think that it was the reason they afterward called it manna. Moses told them, "This is the bread which the Lord has given for you to eat." Everyone got a basket and began gathering the manna. When they tasted it, they found that it tasted like wafers flavored with honey. It was delicious, cooked many different ways, and no matter how much a man gathered, there was plenty for his family. When the sun came up bright and strong, what was left on the ground melted like frost, just like the snow. Some were greedy and disobeyed God by gathering too much. The next day they found it was rotten and spoiled and smelt bad. God wanted them to trust in Him to send their food each day. In the evening, quail came up and covered the camp, so the Lord provided meat for His people also. 6 days every week the Israelites received food from heaven, and on the 7th day they ate the extra they had gathered the day before. Once a week, God let them keep more than they needed without having it spoil. This way they learned that one day in the week they were to rest as God did on the 7th day of His creation of the world. This day was a holy day to God, and their Israelites called it the Sabbath, which means day of rest. The manna continued to fall day by day as long as the Hebrews traveled in the wilderness. Not until they reached the land of Canaan 40 years later did God cause it to stop. So God took care of them all the way by giving them food and providing them with water to drink. They never had to go out and hunt to look for food. God provided it for them. And you'll see probably in later stories, unless it doesn't say in the children's version, but the Hebrews, the Israelites, where a lot of them were disobeying God and still, not having faith and trusting in God. That's why they had to wander in the desert looking for the land of Canaan for 40 years. God could have got them there in one day if he wanted to, but he had them wandering around for 40 years because of the way that they treated him, the way they was disrespecting God and not trusting in him. So he turned away from them like they turned away from him until they turned back to him again, and then he would help them again, like he always will, like he always will any of us. Whatever you do, and if you truly mean it, and you truly love God, all you have to do is ask him for forgiveness and truly mean it with all your heart and love God with all your heart, and he will forgive you no matter what you've done. He is your Father. He created all of us humans, black, white, Indian, Egyptian, whatever. He created all of us. Chinese, Japanese. We're all his children, and he loves us all just the same. He doesn't love one caller better than the other. He loves us all, and he made us all special in our own ways. The love that you have for your children, or the love that your parents have for you and you have for them, well, that's how, if you have a good, loving family, that's the same thing, because God is our Father, and he loves us like a parent would really, really love their child, and he considers each one of us special to him, each one of us. So I want to make that very clear to you guys, that you always got God no matter what. If everybody else in this world turns their back on you, you always have God. And God never sleeps. You can talk to him 24/7, and he will be there for you, day or night, 365 days of the year, 7 days a week. He will always be there for you. All you have to do is trust in him and talk to him. Talk to him just like you would your best friend, your father, if you have a close relationship with your father. That's the close relationship you should have with God, if not even a stronger one, because he really, truly loves you and cares about you more than anyone in this world ever could. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Bible story, Food from Heaven. And I will see you guys again soon, God willing, with a continuation from our Bible stories. I hope you kids have a great day. Bye, guys. God bless.